In the past, I've had the need to use a lot of malaria.
Which is very user-friendly and interactive and easy to work with. So over time, I've been able to save more, invest more. They provided several periodic financial updates that just gives you opportunities that are available, that helps you make economic and financial decisions. So I'm very grateful for AXA Mansard for that. And also in helping me achieve my various needs. I've been able to buy a new car thanks to better savings and investments. Been able to also finance my foreign trip. So all in all, it's a wonderful partnership, and I would encourage everyone to be part of the AXA Mansard experience. So that's my experience at AXA Mansard. Thank you.
My name is Ajijola Ayotunde. I'm an energy analyst. Yeah, I'm neither a doctor nor a pharmacist. I'm not in the medical line. But I have to study bone science the hard way. I can recall 2019, 2020, I had a fracture. I had an accident, fractured my leg, and I thought, okay, it's a fracture, fine, open fracture. The worst 6 weeks, I should start placing weight on my leg. But I realized that there is a lot of complication to it. The way I see medicine is, okay, go to hospital, get a drug, come out, you are healed. I never believed there's any complication to anything until I experienced that. And when it happened, it resulted into loss of 12 centimeters of tibia bone. That was much. I can recall that day when the doctor told me in the theater that we've lost 12 centimeters of tibia bone. So I was like, wow. Is this the end? Is this the end of my leg or something? And the doctor assured me that there's a solution. But I have to be patient and go through several surgeries, which we started. I can recall it was a very trying time for me. Depression. I have to be in one place. I'm not that kind of person. I love being everywhere. I have to sit down in the place, go through several surgeries, start reading about bones. Studying about bone, studying any.
Yes, it's okay. You can just wait so I can just. Good morning, everyone. Yes, please. Good morning, everyone. Okay. Thank you very much for coming for the annual general meeting. We would like to start by introducing the incoming chairman, Mr. Kola Adesina, to preside over the meeting. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, seated. I want to welcome, first and foremost, the shareholders, the proxies, the observers, officials of the regulatory authorities, that is, representatives from National Insurance Commission, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Nigerian Exchange Group, and the Corporate Affairs Commission, the press, and others attending the meeting. I would like to draw attention to the register of shareholders which is available for inspection. I would like to also draw attention to the register of directors shareholding which is available for inspection during this meeting in compliance with section 301 subsection 8 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. I also draw the attention of members to the register of directors attendance at meetings, which is also available for inspection pursuant to section 284 subsection 2 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. Introduction of directors and officers. I want to first and foremost introduce myself at this session today, Kola Adesina, and other directors who are to stand as they are introduced. To my right, I have Mr. Kunle Ahmed, the CEO. Next to him is Mrs. Rashidat Adebisi, Executive Director, Technical and Client Services. To my left, I have the Company Secretary, Mrs. Omomi Adeusi. Also to my extreme right, I have the representative of the minority shareholders on the board, Chief Bola Akinola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. And to my extreme left, I have the independent non-executive director, Mrs. Abiola Bada. Sitting next to Mrs. Bada is Mr. Tope Adeniyi, a non-executive director. I would like to introduce our auditors, Mrs. KPMG Professional Services, represented by Mr. Adegoke Oyelami and Mr. Adewale Adeshipo. Next is Alhaji Sodiq Bello and Mrs. Adebisi Bakari, shareholders representative and members of the audit committee. Next is Ms. Busayo Ajanoku, representing DCSL Corporate Services Limited. Next to the audit committee members is Mrs. Olufisola Folayan, representing Datamarks Registrars Limited. On my left are representatives from some of our regulators. The Securities and Exchange Commission, represented by Mr. Abu Ibrahim, as well as Mr. Oladipo. The Nigerian Exchange Limited, represented by Mrs. Antonia Ame. The representatives of Corporate Affairs Commission, and the representatives of National Insurance Commission. We also acknowledge the presence of all shareholders, regulators, and other stakeholders attending the meeting via the live stream. I will now call on the company secretary, Mrs. Omomi Adeusi, to read the notice of meeting.
Good morning, everyone, again. Notice is hereby given. Notice is hereby given that the 31st Annual General Meeting of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC will hold at the Balmoral Convention Center, Federal Palace Hotel, Amadu Bello Way, Victoria Island, Lagos, on Friday, 28th of July, 2023, at 10 a.m. to transact the following business. Ordinary business: to receive the audited financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2022, and the reports of the directors, auditors, and statutory audit committee thereon. 2, to elect directors, Mr. Kola Adeshino, Mr. Gbola Akinola, Mr. Mariano Calebaro, and Ms. Melina Kotla. 3, to declare a dividend. 4, to authorize directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. 5, to disclose the remuneration of managers. And number 6, to elect shareholder representatives of the statutory audit committee. Special business: to consider and, if thought fit, to pass the following. To consider and, if thought fit, to pass the following with or without modification as a special resolution of the company. That the members hereby authorize that the Memorandum of Association and Articles of Association of the company be amended to align with the provision of the Business Facilitations and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2022. 2, that subject to regulatory approval, the directors be and are hereby authorized to invest in or acquire any business entity in furtherance to the objectives of the company, including but not limited to insurance, investments, or health line of business. 3, that subject to regulatory approval, the directors be and are hereby authorized to appoint such advisors, professionals, and parties that they deem necessary upon such terms and conditions that the directors may deem appropriate with regard to their aforementioned investments and acquisitions. 4, that the directors be and are hereby authorized to take all steps and do all acts that they deem necessary for the successful implementation of the above stated resolutions. Proxy: a member entitled to attend and vote at the annual general meeting is entitled to appoint a proxy from the proxy stated in the notice to attend and vote in his or her stead. For the appointment to be valid, a completed and duly stamped proxy form must be deposited at the office of the registrar, Datamarks Registrars Limited, at number 2C, Bagada, Phase 1, Lagos State, not less than 48 hours before the time fixed for the meeting. A blank proxy form is attached to this annual report by order of the board. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Amen. Quorum. The company's article of association fixed quorum for general meetings at 5 or more shareholders or proxies holding not less than 50% of the issued capital of the company. For the purposes of determining the quorum, all proxies shall be counted. I now call on the company secretary to confirm the quorum.
Good morning again. And from the information provided from the registrars, I hereby confirm that we have quorum for this meeting. We have proxies in six proxies, and then self, we have 171 people, and total of 80%.10 representing quorum for this meeting. Thank you.
Following the confirmation from the company secretary that a proper quorum has been formed for this meeting and duly convened and properly constituted, I hereby declare the meeting open and welcome you once again to the 31st Annual General Meeting of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC. We wish to notify you that the meeting is being streamed live for all shareholders, regulators, and observers who are not physically present here for this meeting. You can also type your questions via the question icon, and same will be addressed and responded to. For those present in the room, please raise your hand if you have any questions. I have the pleasure of presenting the director's report and audited financial statements of the company, as well as the chairman's statement for the year ended December 31st, 2022, copies of which had been previously circulated to shareholders, and suggest that they be taken as read. I now lay before you the director's report and audited accounts of the company for the year ended December 31, 2022, in accordance with the Companies and Allied Matters Act and the company's article of association. Auditor's report. I now invite Mr. Adegoke Oyelami, a representative of the auditor, KPMG Professional Services, to read the report of the auditor.
Good morning, everyone. With your permission, Mr. Chairman, I would like to take an abridged version of the report, and also seeking permission from distinguished shareholders. All right, thank you very much. The auditor's report is available on page 53 to 55 of the annual financial statement, and I'm going to read from the start. Independent auditor's report to the shareholders of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC. Report on the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements. We have audited the consolidated and separate financial statements of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC and its subsidiaries, together the group, which comprise the consolidated and separate statement of financial position as at 31st December 2022, the consolidated and separate statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, the consolidated and separate statement of changes in equity, the consolidated and separate statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and the note comprising significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. In our opinion, the accompanying consolidated and separate financial statement gives a true and fair view of the consolidated and separate financial position of the company and of its subsidiaries as at 31st December 2022, and of its consolidated and separate financial performance and its consolidated and separate cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with IFRS standards as issued by the International Accounting Standards Board, IFRS standards, and in the manner required by the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA 2022, and the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act 2011, the Insurance Act 2003, and the relevant National Insurance Commission of Nigerian circulars. I refer to page 55, report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Compliance with the requirements of Schedule 5 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act. We have obtained all the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. In our opinion, proper books of account have been kept by the company so far as appeared from the examination of those books, and proper returns adequate for the purpose of our audit have been received from branches not visited by us. The company's statement of financial position and statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are with the books of account and returns. The company did not incur any fine or penalties during the year. Signed by myself, Oilami Adegoke, on behalf of KPMG Professional Services. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now invite Ms. Abiola Bada, the chairman of the Audit Committee, to read the Audit Committee report.
Good morning, shareholders. Report of the Statutory Audit Committee to the members of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC. In compliance with the provision of Section 40, subsection 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act of Nigeria, CAMA 2020, the members of the audit of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC hereby report as follows. We have exercised our statutory functions under Section 40, subsection 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act of Nigeria, CAMA 2020, and acknowledge the cooperation of management and staff in the conduct of these responsibilities. We are of the opinion that the accounting and reporting policies of the group are in compliance with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices, and that the scope and planning of both the external and internal audits for the year ended 31st December 2022 was satisfactory and reinforced the group's internal control systems. We have deliberated with the external auditors, who have confirmed that necessary cooperation was received from management in the course of their statutory audit, and we are satisfied with management's responses to their recommendations for improvement and with the difference of the group's system of accounting, with the effectiveness of the group's system of accounting and internal control. I am Abiola Bada. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. I now invite a representative of the external consultant, DCSL Corporate Services Limited, Ms. Busayo Ajano Kuto, to read the report of the external consultant on the board appraisal in line with the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018, the NICOM Code of Corporate Governance for Insurance Companies 2021, and the Securities and Exchange Commission Corporate Governance Guideline for Public Companies in Nigeria issued in 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, directors, shareholders. I'll be reading a summary of our report. The board of AXA Mansard Insurance PLC engaged DCSL Corporate Services Limited to carry out a performance evaluation of the board of directors for the year ended 31st December 2022, in line with the provisions of Principle 14.1 of the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance, Section 4.01 of the National Insurance Commission, and Guidelines 9 of the Securities and Exchange Commission Corporate Governance Guidelines, to ascertain the extent of compliance with relevant corporate governance principles and appraise the performance of the board. We benchmarked the company's corporate governance structures, policies, and processes against the above-mentioned codes, as well as global best practices, and we consider the following 7 key corporate governance themes. The first is the board structure and composition. The second is strategy and planning. The third is board operations and effectiveness. The fourth is measuring and monitoring performance. The fifth, risk management and compliance. The sixth, corporate citizenship. And the seventh, transparency and disclosure. In conducting the appraisal, we reviewed the company's corporate and statutory documents, minutes of board and committee meetings, policies, processes, and ancillary documents made available to us. We also administered questionnaires and interacted with members of the board. Our review confirms that AXA Mansard Insurance PLC has substantially complied with the provisions of the NICOM guidelines, the SCGG, and the NCCG, and that the activities of the board and the company significantly align with corporate governance best practices. The board has demonstrated commendable oversight of the activities of the company and a strong commitment to emplacing a culture of good corporate governance. We have preferred recommendations to address areas that require improvement identified during the exercise and have the assurance that the board will take appropriate steps to implement this. We're grateful for the opportunity to be of service and look forward to working with you in the future. Please accept the assurances of our highest regard and esteem, signed by BC Adeyemi, Managing Director, DCSL Corporate Services Limited. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. We're now in the question and answer session. Standing microphones have been provided for speakers on the floor, and I hereby request that if questions are being asked on the annual report and accounts, speakers should state their names and make appropriate references to the relevant pages to ensure that right answers are given. In addition, it will be helpful if members are brief and restrict their questions or comments to 1 or 2 at a time to afford others the opportunity to speak. We will take note of all questions and respond at the end in order to save time. Let's start. They said ladies first, so let's start with the lady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe he's working. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, other board members here present, the regulatory authorities here present, my fellow distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Barrister Adetutu Shinyombola. I'm the president of Highly Favored Shareholders. With your kind permission, Mr. Chairman, I have some observations, comments, questions, and suggestions on AXA Mansard's annual report. With your kind permission, I will quickly run through them. Number 1, on page 5, item 1.2, results at a glance. I want to limit myself to group performance. Gross written premium grew by 15% from 60.2 billion naira to almost 69 billion naira in the year under review. Net premium income grew by 24% from 37.1 billion naira to 46.1 billion naira in the year under review. Profit before tax declined by 42% from 5.8 billion naira to 3.4 billion naira in the year under review. Profit after tax declined by 35% from 3.7 billion naira to 2.4 billion naira in the year under review. Total assets grew by 2% from 104.1 billion naira to 106.2 billion naira in the year under review. Insurance liabilities grew by 21% from 36.9 billion naira to 44.8 billion naira in the year under review. Shareholders' fund declined by 4% from 30.1 billion naira to almost 29 billion naira in the year under review. Total dividend payouts grew by 41% from 1.9 billion naira to 2.8 billion naira in the year under review. I observe a growth in our turnover and a drop in our profit in the year under review. All the same, I want to seize this opportunity to encourage the board and the management team for their efforts and implore them to do more. On page 12, award and recognitions. In chairman's statements, I observe that we have series of awards to our credit in the year under review. This is commendable. Please keep it up. From page 18 to 20, the beautiful faces and the profile of the board of directors. I observe that we have only 3 ladies in the board of 9 directors, which amounts to 33%. This is unacceptable on gender balancing. We have to improve on it going forward. From page 21 to 23, the beautiful faces of the management team. I observe that we have 8 ladies in the management team of 20 members, which amounts to 40%. This is commendable. Please keep it up. On page 25, item 1.8, Corporate Social Responsibilities Report. I observe that our CSR in the year under review centered on health, education, women empowerment, and community development. Next time, we should extend it to social welfare by reaching out to the orphanages and the old people's homes. From page 30 to 33, attendance at board meetings and board committee meetings is good, but can be better. We need to work on our attendance. On page 35, share capital history. I observe that we have not issued bonus to our shareholders in 34 years of our existence. I want to seize this opportunity to appeal to the conscience of the board and the management team to consider the issuance of bonus when deliberating on 2023 annual reports, considering the fact that our retained earnings in the year under review is 6.9 billion naira. On page 36, dividends. Upon a drop in our profit in the year under review, I observe that the board has proposed a final dividend of 30 kobo per share in addition to 6 kobo interim dividend earlier paid, making a total dividend of 36 kobo in the year under review, compared to 25 kobo paid the previous year. This is commendable. Please keep it up. On page 36 and 37, directors and their interest. I observe that only 3 directors out of 9 listed have our shares attached to their names directly in the year under review. There is no disclosure of indirect holdings. Why? On page 37, changes in directorship. I observe that Mr. Olushola Adeyo, our erstwhile chairman, resigned from our board on the 16th of February, 2023, in line with the requirements of the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance. I want to seize this opportunity to thank him for his meritorious service to our company and wish him the very best in his present and future endeavors. On the same page 37, major shareholders. I observe that we have only 2 major shareholders, with the minority shareholders in our company in the year under review. I would like to know, though Mr. Chairman has introduced a gentleman to us as a representative of the minority shareholders, but going forward, we want the board to get in touch with us for us to make a presentation of somebody that will represent us in the board. On page 36, on page 35, contraventions and penalties. I observe that our company did not incur any fine and penalty in the year under review. This is commendable. I want to seize this opportunity to give kudos to our company secretary and our team for this feat. Please keep it up. On page 57, consolidated statements of financial position. I want to limit myself to the group position. Trade receivables under assets went up from 7.01 billion naira in the year under review to 7.8 billion naira in the year under review. What are the modalities in place to collect these debts from our customers to the BRS minimum so that it will not end up as a bad debt that will be written off? Trade payables under liabilities also went up from 11.6 billion naira to 13.8 billion naira in the year under review. How do we intend to pay this debt to our creditors? On page 162, note 40, other operating expenses. I want to limit myself to group expenses. Directors' emoluments and expenses went up from 40.4 million naira to 60.4 million naira in the year under review. This is huge. Why? Other transactional tax expenses went up astronomically from 186.9 million naira to 383.5 million naira in the year under review. This is outrageous. Why? I observe that we have used this annual report judiciously to advertise all our products. This is commendable. Please keep it up. Thanks and God bless you richly for this opportunity, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate.
Thank you very much, Madam, for your questions. Let me call the, you can take, and then you are Nessa.
Thank you, our amiable chairman. Sorry. My name is Tunji Bamidele. Tunji Bamidele is my name. I'm a national president of the Starlight Shareholder Association of Nigeria, member of GA Shareholder in Africa. Permitting my chairman, I'm standing on existing protocol. And I need to appreciate the board for this appointment of our chairman, because I know the chairman for over 30 years. He's a man of vision, vibrant, and a fear of God. My chairman, in fact, for you to be our chairman here, he gave us a lot of rest of mind that tomorrow we are expecting 5 naira, 6 naira dividend. Due to your network, due to your connectivity, due to a lot of things I know about you, and I believe with all round support of your management, we need to achieve it soonest. My chairman, we observed that there's a lot of board changes, and when you introduce a lot of them, 2 people are absent. We would like to know why they are not here today for the appointment. And because we don't know them, and we need to know them before we give the proper approval to people unknown. Permit my chairman, because you are a strategic risk taker, and you are well known for issue of the insurance, not only in this industry, globally. I observe in line with my predecessor about the result at glance. And I observe that the company is performing very well, and we expect the future will be better than this. And in the area of dividend, there are certain things that we need a clarity on it. Your earning per share is 29 kobo, and the dividend is about 36 kobo. We look at it that you want us to be loving, but what of the future of it? Because you draw from reserve to be able to make us something. But we want you to work more in the area of digital insurance for a lot of things to be coming in for us to pay us a lot of dividend. We need a little better explanation. Now, in page 141, because I need to be brief, subsidiary, you gave a loan to subsidiary, and there's no signal that they recoup the loan. What is modality? What really happened in that area? 2 subsidiaries, you gave a loan to it, and I don't know whether they are not ready to pay or they are not performing well. And if you look at your page 57, area of special financial position, your asset is growing, a lot of things moving up and down. But our question is this: there's information from Nikon about the recapitalization. We want to know your position as at now. What have you? What is our hope? Have you got everything expected in line with Nikon? If you are not, what is your position as at now? We'd like to know. And now, there's an issue of finance costs. How do you be able to manage it? In the area of operating expenses, the last one, you say others. And we see the margin between the last year and this year very huge. Why you cannot analyzing it for us? Because about 3-something billion or something like that. And how can you accumulate that one and become others? Why can't you simplify order for layman to understand? I sincerely appreciate you, and we're ready to give you all necessary support for advert in your something and staff training, because level is now in a digital level. What have you done to make sure our staff are moving to another level in area of digitalization? Because a lot of things is moving out. And marketing, because I know even our chairman is a guru in marketing. I know him for a long period, and he can use opportunity as a chairman to get a lot of business for us. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tunji Bamidele. For the purpose of accountability, transparency, and full disclosure, Mr. Tunji Bamidele was my student over 30 years ago in University of Lagos. You are the next person, sir.
Good morning, all. All protocols duly observed. My name is Adeleke Oladimeji. Chairman, we are so happy with acting chairman. We are so happy with AXA Mansard because he's one of the big players in the industry. Looking at this account that we are considering today, a revenue of over 60 billion, when other insurance are doing 9, 12, 13 billion. It shows that we have a company that is so vibrant and are really up to the task. I know there is no how we'll be talking about insurance business in Nigeria before we talk about the first 5 insurance companies, if not number 3. We'll be talking of AXA Mansard. This is a good thing. And this thing, what we are considering today, is not possible if we do not acknowledge the presence of our MD, who has been working assiduously to make sure that the company improved. And also not only the MD. If you look at a company like AXA Mansard, the management at large, they are really putting on their best to make sure that we have this vibrant result. But that is not enough. As a friend of the company and someone that is so close to the company secretary, I would like to observe that the company, you always take yours for granted, and we don't really like it. You always take shareholders for granted. One of the things I've clamored in this meeting is that the chairman of the audit committee is supposed to come from the shareholders representative. I've said it about 2 or 3 meetings before, but it seems we don't have a listening board. They believe they can do what they like. The chairman of audit committee of a company supposed to be from the shareholders representative. This is so important. This is the practice. This is the norms, which I believe AXA Mansard should follow. And I've said it, but they believe it's not supposed to be so. Also, I observe in this meeting, when we want to start the meeting, the directors, some directors are not on the board. Nobody gave us the explanation we are about, and nobody tendered any apology on their behalf. This is not supposed to be so. And also, directors proposing for election in a very organized meeting like this, they are not supposed to be sitting on the board. I stand to be corrected. If you can correct me on that, they're supposed to be on this side. What about if we did not approve their election today? What about if we did not approve their election today and have put them on the board or on their table already? These practices are not supposed to be like this. We did respond. But the fact that we always take it as a family meeting, we waive a lot of things for ourselves, and just take us for a ride. This practice is supposed not to be so. We're supposed to bring one of the non-executive directors to come and share this meeting. After the election of the directors proposing for election, that is the time they're supposed to be on the high table. But we just take it that, okay, it's a family meeting, let's help things go. This practice should stop from today. Please, all these committee members, the 3 of you should elect one member that will sign this account. That is when we can hold you accountable for it, not a director. Okay, going forward, sir, I want to ask there are we have 3 subsidiaries. 2 of them are not doing fine. What are the things we are putting in place to make sure that these 2 subsidiaries return to profitability? And also observe in this annual account that the shareholders fund declined. What is the reason? We should be growing our shareholders fund. And going forward, I believe a company like AXA Mansard, we should have a dividend policy. Where you are coming from, a good company should have a dividend policy. Not that we just decide and say, annual, any per share of 29 kobo, let's go and bring from reserve and join to the dividend. These are not supposed to be. We are an insurance business. What about if a big claim comes next year? Are we going to borrow? These are things that we should put in place. We should have a dividend policy that even without you decline dividend, anytime we see the annual the accounts online, we know, okay, this company is paying 40%, 50%, or 60% of their earnings per share. So it will give us a clear picture of where we are going to. We should learn and do things in a proper way. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Your next, sir.
I would like to say good morning all. Board of Directors, my chairman, Board of Directors, regulators present, my esteemed shareholders. My name is Jibuno Godfrey Uche. I am the National Youth Leader, Shareholders Association of Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, much has been said, but first of all, like I said, I would like to commend the board for the dividend policy, yes. At least they declared 30 kobo, and we are going to get 30 kobo paid today. Yes. Most companies, when they declare dividends, they say 2 days, 3 days, but we are paying it today. That means that before we go, we will hear our bagam today, yes. Mr. Chairman, also again, I see that AXA Mansard is one of the big insurance companies, I can say among the top 3. Yes. But Mr. Chairman, why are we not doing life insurance? Because I see all those are there. We have oil, gas, fire, and all the what. Why are we not doing life? There's big money in life. And I will meet my MD there, Mr. Kulame, to also explore, that avenue also. Also, again, I would like to commend the registrars for a very nice annual report. Yes, I can see, I can see that unclaimed, they've written the names of unclaimed dividends. And I can see about 7 people of my members that are in the unclaimed dividends. Yes, this is a time that, people have unclaimed dividends, and when it's being published, they have right to get their money back. And I trust the registrars to do the needful on making sure that they get, their unclaimed dividends. And last but not least, in audit committee meetings, yes, I noticed that you did 4. Yes, 4 is the maximum. But I remember that not all of them attended the meetings. The meeting should be 4/4. Most people did 2/4. It's not good. Because it's when you attend meetings, there's a synergy. You are able to work, with management and chart a way forward. And last but not least, sir, I want AXA Mansard to be among the top first. And I would like you people to do what we call aggressive marketing. Do jingles. The annual report, you can see there. It's nice, but you can also put different things on the annual report in terms of marketing, because it goes a long way. I know an uncle that has AXA Mansard, and every year they send this annual report on courier to the US for him. So please, sir, I would like us to work on that. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. I want to exhaust this side of the hall first. Is there any other person from this side? Okay, one more. Yes.
I don't have annual reports, but I just want to chip something in. With the era of FS loss, how are you planning to safeguard our investment? My name is Adeniyi Abdul.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul. One more question? None. Okay, fine. Okay, there's somebody there. You can come forward, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and the floor. Thanks so much for giving me this opportunity. I think I have, first of all, to appraise the company that since you come on, you've been okay and been doing fine. The account is good, but you need to improve. But however, I need to say something concerning directors, which somebody has said seeking election. Directors seeking election does not, you can sit on the shares. The thing is, you cannot be chairman if you are sitting in election. When it's your time, you leave it and give it to others to do. So I think that's good. Then one of the things that the other man has said concerning life insurance is good. Life insurance is good because it's good. And I like your pension fund. It's okay going. And your medical. I've clicked into your medical and I see that you are doing fine there. So please, keep all that, keep the business going, and then let the business improve for that. Whatever you know you have the power to do is what you do. You don't do more than what you have power. Because of this NACON can do anything. They can come with policy that may be above you or below you. So it's not good. And you need money and expansion for that. So I give kudos to you. The business is going now. Let us get more let us get more dividends in the coming years. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. My name is Evangelist Akiola Swari. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Babaiko. I think one more person. That's the, okay. Well, universally progress. I think the MD, I'll call on the MD now to please tackle the questions and comments made. Thank you.
Good morning, distinguished shareholders. Good morning, everyone. Let me start by thanking all of us for turning up in large numbers for this AGM. It's a testament to the interest that you have in your company, our company, and we thank you. We have a couple of questions that I will try and respond to. Before now, during COVID, usually you have only 2 people on the I table. So I will attempt to answer all the questions, but I have colleagues on the I table that can chip in if I miss out on any particular response. I will start with the questions raised by Barrister Adetutu Shiambola. Barrister Adetutu commended us on the results, and thank you, and the awards and recognitions. She pointed out that representation on the board in terms of gender balance is not balanced as at this time. This fact we recognize, and shareholders will also agree with me that we have improved tremendously in terms of the composition of the board, in terms of the gender balance. We still have a couple of seats to fill on the board, and certainly we will note your suggestion as we fill the rest roles on the board. She also mentioned about CSR, that we should do a bit more on social welfare. Let me assure you that we do a lot on social welfare. In the company, we have staff that have been put in various houses within the company, and what they do basically is to support orphanage, work within the educational sector by taking up students, in extramural classes. All these are not included in the annual report because these are initiatives by individuals within the company. Perhaps the key we'll take is next time we might include some of these activities in the annual report. We take your feedback on issued bonus. We are trying to balance payment of dividends with issuing bonuses. You agree with us that this year we are declaring 36 kobo. Last year it was 25 kobo. Every year, apart from 1 year, we've always declared dividends. But we take your feedback. Mrs. Siombola would like us to indicate directors and their interests. I'm happy to announce that there is no indirect holdings. All the holdings that we have declared are what we have in the annual report. And you might want to ask us why are the majority shareholders not insisting on putting people on the board. AXA, the international company, have 100% confidence in all of you, the shareholders, in Nigeria, and in Nigerians. They have left us to run the affairs of the company without insisting on putting people on the board. I think they deserve a round of applause. Mrs. Siombola would like us to explain why we have increase in receivables from 7 billion to 7.8 billion. Madam, remember that we grew the business 15%. And receivables, for the insurance part of the business, it is no premium, no cover. And we collect our premium 100% upfront. But we also have other part of our business that is not, that doesn't work with the no premium, no cover principle. But I can assure shareholders that we have never failed to collect all our premiums from our clients. Our clients religiously do pay up on the receivables, and we have always reduced impairment to the barest minimum. We are a going concern, Mrs. Siombola, and we are able to honor all our payables. Ms. Siombola also mentioned the increase in directors' emolument and expenses. And I'd like to explain a bit more about this, because before we started the meeting, a shareholder also asked me offline that we have increased the emolument of directors without approval of shareholders. Let me assure shareholders this morning, there is no way we are going to do anything beyond what you have approved for us to do. No way. The increase in the directors' emolument and expenses was as a result of the need for us to hold a meeting out of the country, in Egypt actually, to give the directors the opportunity to visit the One Health clinic in Cairo. And the result of that visit we have already seen in Nigeria with the opening of the One Health clinic in Lagos, Nigeria. So this increase is not as a result of the increase in emolument of directors. It is just the expense side. And I would like to use the opportunity to thank all our directors, current and past directors, because I can share with shareholders, our directors are one of the least remunerated in the industry in Nigeria today. Yet, they serve the company, with all their resources. Thank you, Barrister Siombola. I'll move to the questions asked by Mr. Tunji Bamidele. And he talked about board changes and why we don't have some shareholders here. Some board members here, some directors here. I would like to apologize for that. But what our thought was that, to start with, those directors are online, and they are online with us right as we speak. We were trying to manage costs for the company by not bringing them physically to Nigeria. They're going to come, spend 2 days, and go back again. We thought with them online, it's as well that they are with us. However, we take the feedback. Perhaps when we have this particular situation in the future, we will handle it a bit differently. Mr. Bamidele wants us to work more on dividend. Mr. Bamidele also talked about loan to subsidiaries, and I will take this with Mr. Adeleke's question around the fact that we have 2 subsidiaries that are not doing well. What are we going to do with them? Yes, we have 2 subsidiaries. And the experience in 2022 was just a blip. AXA Mansard Health, by the way, AXA Mansard Health will be 10 years this year. The company was incorporated 7th August 2013. So there will be 10 years this year. In the last 8 years, the health business has been the fastest growing part of our business. Fastest growing. In 2019, they grew 30%. They contributed about 3 billion to the profit of the company. In 2020, they grew 28%. In 2022, they grew 22%. However, in 2022, we had a couple of issues. We recorded more claims than we planned. That was made worse by the fact that some hospitals didn't report claims that happened in 2021 until early in 2022. That was why we had a bit of a problem in terms of profitability for that business in 2022. However, what have we done? I need to reassure shareholders that we've taken concrete steps to ensure that we return the business back to the profitability part. We have done a bit of repricing with our clients. Our clients love our services, so they are willing to pay a bit more. We have tightened our fraud, waste, and abuse process. We have also ensured that we put in place a structure whereby the providers, the hospitals, turn in their claims on time so that we don't have a situation where claims of a previous year is being reported in another year. I'm happy to announce that this year already, the health business has grown 25%. And they are, as at the end of June, and we have declared this result on the floor of the exchange, as at the end of June, they have made a profit of 700 million. Mr. Bamidele would like to know where we are on recapitalization. I can tell you that the process has been suspended by NICOM, but before the suspension, the idea that was mooted was 18 billion naira as capital. As of today, we have met that 18 billion. Mr. Adeleke, I've answered the question around the 2 subsidiaries. The issue with the property company was not as a result of a loss in the business per se. It was as a result of fair value loss. And how do I mean? We carried our property businesses on a fair value basis in our accounts. That means that every year, the professional valuer will have to value the asset. Because of the effect of COVID and the increase in remote working, a lot of the premium offices became vacant, and that affected the valuation of the valuers. There was also an increase in capitalization rate, which is a rate that valuers use to assess, the occupancy of a property and the value of a property. So we suffered a fair value loss on that asset. But in terms of the business itself, the AXA Mansard investment has grown third-party AUM 16% between 2021 and 2022. Mr. Adeleke would like us to have a dividend policy. We do have a dividend policy. There's no way we're going to run a company without a dividend policy. Perhaps what he would like to see is the inclusion of that dividend policy in our annual report. We'll take that feedback and we'll see what we can do to that. Thanks to the comments from Chief Uche Jibuno, and he would like to know why we don't write life insurance. Sir, we do write life insurance. Yes, indeed, we, in the last 2 years, the life business has grown about 50%, especially the individual life. So we do write life business. There are questions around the composition of the audit committee. I'd just like to mention that the law provides for board members to be members of the audit committee. 2 members, actually. When the audit committee meets, we don't have control over who they elect as the chairperson of that particular audit committee. And we do not like to influence anything whatsoever. NICOM also, NICOM code, the company secretary is just trying to tell me now that the NICOM code also specifies that directors, yes.
Sorry, let me just quickly address that. The NICOM Code of Corporate Governance requires that the chairperson of the audit committee should be the independent director. That's what is stated. So that is something that... Wait, sir. So that is what we have. They are all members. They are all members. But they then said that. So that's what we are going to go back to NICOM. Is part of what we're discussing in the review of the Corporate Governance Code. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mommy. But thank you. Mr. Adeni Abdul would like to know how we are edging FX issues. I'm also happy to announce that your company earned income on some part of our business in dollars. And we try to hedge those the FX issues with those incomes. Some of our assets are also denominated in dollars. However, the rapid devaluation of the naira that we witnessed in recent times might lead to an FX loss. That we recognize. But we'll try to manage this process as best as we can. Thank you for the feedback from Babeko. Thank you very much. We appreciate your feedback, and thank you. I don't know if my colleague would like to address any particular issue. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our CEO. We now move to the video instruction, and I'll call on the registrars to play a video presentation to explain the voting process using the electronic voting pad. I thank the registrar for doing so. Please proceed.
Usage instructions. Please note that the device is only required during the voting session of this meeting. How to use the voting device. press the Sign In button to activate the voting device. When the status indicator flashes red, the device is ready for use. Press the Yes button to vote in favor of a resolution, or press the No button to vote against a resolution. Only press the ABS button if you do not wish to vote on a resolution. Please press only one of the buttons to cast your vote. You have only 1 minute to vote for each resolution. However, if you press the Yes or No button more than once, the last button pressed before the end of the voting period will be registered as your vote. Please return the e-voting devices to the ushers after the voting session has been concluded. An alarm will be triggered at the exit points if you still have the voting device with you when you leave the meeting hall. Kindly check your pocket and bag to ensure that the device is returned.
Thank you very much, our registrar. We now go into resolutions. We now present the resolutions. Oh, okay, there's an observation. Sorry, would you mind approaching?
Sorry, good morning. Please, my name is Ora Jerome. Not everybody have the voting device. I don't have. They said it's finished. That's what I was told.
I know. That's it now. Just use their hand. Yeah. Okay, what we're going to do, necessity is the mother of invention. We will use both. Those who have the parts should use their parts, and those who don't have, by show of hand, should indicate their preference. We now present the resolutions being proposed. No problem. If it's the only one, no problem. No, don't worry, sir. You want to have
the annual report.
Oh, you want to have the annual report. You'll get, for those who don't have, I think you'll definitely get the annual report, but let's proceed. Let's make progress. We now present the resolutions being proposed for approval at this meeting. To facilitate a smooth conduct of the business of the day, I will move each motion and invite seconders for each motion from the floor. The seconders are kindly requested to state their names to enable the secretary to take proper note of the names. Furthermore, members are kindly requested to follow the voting procedure as shown in the video presentation, in addition with the amended means of voting by show of hand for those who don't have the facility. I hereby move the audited financial statements for the financial year ended December 31, 2022, and the reports of the directors, the auditor, and the audit committee thereon laid before the meeting be and are hereby received. I'm hereby calling for a seconder, please. Okay, I will rather my elderly man here behind. Thank you very much. I need to put this into motion now. Those in favor of the motion and those against the motion should please signify by voting accordingly on their voting pad or show of hand. Voting pad. Okay. By the results here shown, I declare
voting is in progress. Voting is over now. We have 54 shareholders voting in favor of the resolution and 1 person voted against.
Thank you very much. I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried by the House. Observation.
If anyone raises their hands, we're going to count and add. It was only 1 person, and that's... Okay, we'll note that going forward. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's do it again, please. No problem, don't worry. We'll do it again. Another observation. Okay, what we are doing here, as human beings, we are agents of progress. And one of the things we are doing is to continuously digitalize and make progress accordingly. Therefore, as a company that is progressive and that is going higher and is global, we'll use the advanced methodology, which we believe all of us will get used to over time in voting. But for voting purposes today, we've allowed those who don't have the pad to equally vote. For completeness sake and to give confidence to those who seem not to have one as yet, we'll quickly do that round and then move on for the sake of time. I hereby move that the audited financial statement for the financial year ended December 31, 2022, and the reports of the directors, the auditor, and the audit committee thereon laid before the meeting be and I hereby received. The seconder.
Thank you, my able chairman. May God bless you.
Amen.
I, Prince Awosaya, I so second, all the way from Remo Central constituency.
Thank you. Those in favor of the motion and those against the motion should please signify by voting accordingly on their voting pads as well as show of hand.
We have 68 people that voted in favor.
How many?
68. We've
68?
counted the ones, yes.
Okay.
And 3 against.
3 against.
Yes.
I declare that the motion has been duly carried. Since the last annual general meeting, Chief Bola Akinola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Marino Caballero, and Ms. Melina Kotler, and my humble self, Mr. Kola Adesina, were appointed directors of the company. Our profiles can be found on the annual report, and our appointments have been approved by the National Insurance Commission. All new directors are now presented before you, our shareholders, at this meeting for approval. by a single resolution, I hereby present to you. I think I want to defer this side of the agenda to Mrs. Bada.
Mrs. Bada, the independent director would anchor this particular resolution on behalf of the board. Thank you.
Okay. We request approval by single resolution for Chief Bola Akinola San, Mr. Mariano Caballero, and Ms. Melina Kotler, as well as Mr. Kola Adeshino. They were appointed directors of the company, and the profiles have been put in the annual report. So I hereby present to you Chief Bola Akinola for election as a non-executive director of the company. Can I? Okay. Okay. Mr. Mariano Caballero, that is online. Ms. Melina Kotler, who is also online. And then Mr. Kola Adeshino. Can I get a seconder, please? Okay, the madam in the pink. Can you give her the mic?
Thank you very much, ma'am. My name is Honorable Balogun Oluwatoyin. I second the motion.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So those in favor of the motion and those against the motion should please signify by voting accordingly on the electronic voting pads or by show of hands. All right.
"37 shareholders voted for the resolution and 1 person voted against."
I declare that the motion has been duly carried. Thank you.
To declare a dividend, please recall that your company had paid interim dividend in the sum of 6 kobo per share, per ordinary share of 2 naira to shareholders in December 2022. Directors are proposing the payment of the additional sum of 30 kobo per 2 naira as final dividend, bringing the total dividend paid to shareholders for the 2023 financial year to 36 kobo per ordinary share of 2 naira each. I hereby move that a dividend in respect of the year ended 31st December 2022 of 3.24 billion naira, being 36 kobo per share, subject to appropriate withholding tax deduction, comprising of 540 million naira already paid as interim dividend at the rate of 6 kobo per share in December 2022 and 2.7 billion naira to be paid as final dividend at the rate of 30 kobo per share upon its approval at this meeting to shareholders whose names are registered in the company's register of members at the close of business on June 21st, 2023. I hereby call for a seconder.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Akiode Olatunji. I second the motion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I hereby put the motion for a vote. Those in favor of the motion and those against the motion should please signify by voting accordingly on your voting pad and or show of hand. Depending on the total number of votes as confirmed by the registrar, we shall declare the result.
One shareholders voted. Sorry, So 38 shareholders voted in favor of the resolution and 1 person voted against.
I declare that the motion has been duly carried. In order to authorize directors to fix the remuneration of auditors, Section 408B of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 requires that the auditor's remuneration shall be fixed by the company in a general meeting or in such manner as the company in general meeting may determine. Consequently, I hereby move that the directors be and hereby authorized to fix the remuneration and expenses of the auditors, Mrs. KPMG Professional Services, in respect of the year ending 31st December 2023, on the recommendation of the Audit Committee. A seconder, please. I think this time around, we would want to go to this side.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is Prince Engineer Kolewu. I second the motion.
Thank you very much. Those in favor of the motion and those against the motion should please signify by voting accordingly on your voting pads or show of hand. And depending on the total number of votes as confirmed by the registrar, we will declare the results.
Thirty-eight shareholders voted in favor of the resolution and 1 person voted against.
I declare that the motion has been duly carried. By virtue of Section 238 and 257 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, this requires that every company at a general meeting shall disclose the remuneration of managers of the company. I hereby draw the attention of shareholders to page 166 of the annual report, which contains a detailed report of the remuneration of the managers of the company, and suggest that they be taken as read. To elect shareholders' representatives of the Statutory Audit Committee, we will now take the final resolution. Oh. But where's that?
Move that one. Should we move the special business and then we go back to, maybe we can crave the indulgence that can we move the special business and then before we go to...
Okay. Let me, wait, where's... Okay, I want to crave your indulgence to ask for a movement in the agenda because I see that we have a special business portion that needs to be equally voted on. I would want to defer that of election to the last point, but let's quickly take that of item number 19 regarding special business. For the amendment of the Memorandum of Association and Articles of Association of the company, Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provision Act 2022 requires that the Memorandum of Association and Articles of Association of the company be amended to align with the provisions of the Act. I hereby move that the Memorandum of Association and Articles of Association of the company be amended to align with the provisions of the Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2022. A seconder, please. Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At last, you can remember me. My name is Prince Adewale Oyenuga. I second that motion.
Thank you very much. Those in favor of the motion and those against the motion should please signify by voting accordingly on your voting pads and or show of hand. And depending on the total number of votes as confirmed by the registrar, not less than 2/3 of the votes cast by shareholders, we shall declare the result.
Forty-three shareholders voted in favor of the resolution and 1 person voted against.
I declare that the motion has been duly carried. We now move back to item number 18. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. We still have B and C of that column. I'm sorry. I hereby move that the subject to regulatory approval, the directors be and hereby authorized to invest in or acquire any business entity in furtherance to the objectives of the company, including but not limited to insurance, investments, or health line of business. A seconder, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is High Chief Ajie Robert Igbe. I second that motion.
Thank you very much. Those in favor of the motion and those against the motion should please signify by voting accordingly on your voting pads and or show of hand. And depending on the total number of votes as confirmed by the registrar, we shall declare the results.
Thirty-two shareholders voted in favor of the resolution and 5 voted against.
I declare that the motion has been duly carried. I hereby move that subject to regulatory approval, the directors be and are hereby authorized to appoint such advisors, professionals, and parties that they deem necessary upon such terms and conditions that the directors may deem appropriate with regard to the aforementioned investments and acquisitions. A seconder, please. I think I'll go one more time here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name remains Ali Ayanwole Sikiru, all the way from Ibadan. I rise to second the motion.
Thank you very much. Those in favor of the motion and those against the motion should please signify by voting accordingly on your voting pads and or show of hand. And depending on the total number of votes as confirmed by the registrar, we shall declare the result.
"40 shareholders voted in favor of the resolution and 2 shareholders voted against."
I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. I equally now hereby move that the directors be authorized to take all steps and do all acts that they deem necessary for the successful implementation of the above mentioned resolutions. A seconder, please. A lady this time around. Okay, go ahead.
My name is Chofola Mary Joke. I second the motion.
Thank you very much, madam. Those in favor of the motion and those against the motion should please signify by voting accordingly on your voting pads and or via show of hand.
"41 shareholders voted in favor and 1 person voted against." Thank you.
I declare that the motion has been duly carried. We now move quickly to the last item or penultimate item before adjournment. We will now take the final resolution, which is to elect shareholder representatives of the Statutory Audit Committee. Section 404, subsection 6 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 requires that nominations to the Audit Committee shall be in writing and shall be delivered to the Secretary at least 21 days before the annual general meeting. The Act requires that membership of the Audit Committee should consist of 5 members consisting of 2 non-executive directors and 3 members of the shareholders of the company. 9 nominations were received by the Secretary for the election into the committee, but one of them has stepped down, and we'll get into that later. The valid nominees are as follows. 1, Mr. Ajayi Oluwafemi Philip. 2, Ms.
My name is Rotimi Blaze, the National Coordinator of Social Association. I came here from Abekuta. You give me prally to do what? Why? It's a rubbish. You say what rubbish? Transport or what? Why? Why? I cannot take it. Why? Why?
Number 2.
No, this one stepped down.
Yeah. WSTC Financial Services Limited, represented by Asari Etuk. 3, Abubakar Sadiq Bello. 4, Bakari Adebisi. 5, Olusonya Oluremi Olukunle. 6, Gbadero Michael Kayode. 7, Oyedapo Julius Abiodun, and Omokayode Oluwole. If you are around, would you kindly please step forward for election? If your name was called, kindly step forward. Kindly step forward here so that all the shareholders can see the nominees. Yeah, I'll go there. In view of the fact that the maximum representatives of shareholders on the audit committee is 3, an election will be conducted. To facilitate smooth proceedings of this meeting, voting will be by show of hands. The 3 nominees with the highest number of votes, will represent shareholders on the audit committee. The votes will be counted by the auditors, assisted by the registrar and ushers, and the result of the election submitted for announcement. All those in favor of the election of Ajayi Oluwafemi Philip to the audit committee should please raise their hands. Okay. Can we?
14 votes for him.
14 votes.
Yes, sir.
14 votes for him.
14.
1-4. Okay. All those in favor of the election.
They voted. So you now just say that the 14, so you go to the next person.
I know, that's what I'm doing. All those in favor of the election of Asari Etuk, representing WSTS Financial Services, to the audit committee should please raise up their hands. Asari Etuk, please raise your hand. Doesn't work for it. It's show of hand. The result, please.
Hello? 94 votes for her, please.
Thank you very much. 90, you said?
9-4.
9-4.
Yes.
All those in favor of the election of Abubakar Sadiq Bello to the audit committee should please raise up their hand.
$118 votes.
118 votes.
Yes.
All those in favor of the election of Bakari Adebisi.
Please sit down, please. Kindly sit down so we can count. Please sit down so that we can count. $182.
All those in favor of the election of Olusanya, Oluremi, Olukunle to the audit committee should please raise up their hand. Raise your hand.
Zero. No vote.
Okay. All those in favor of the election of Badero Michael Kayode to the audit committee should please raise up their hand.
Five votes.
All those in favor of the election of Oyedapo Julius Abiodun to the audit committee.
$56 votes.
56.
Yes.
Thank you. All those in favor of the election of Omokayode Oluwole to the audit committee should please raise up their hands.
Hello. 3 votes.
3 votes. Thank you very much. And I request that the auditor should please submit the results of the audit committee election for announcement.
Okay. Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. So the shareholders with the highest votes, we have 94. WSTC Financial Services Limited, represented by Asari Etuk. Then we have 118, Abubakar Sadiq Bello. And finally, 182, Bakare Adebisi.
Based on the results that has been confirmed by the auditor, the audit committee will be represented, the shareholders will be represented in the audit committee as follows. Asari Etuk, Abubakar Sadiq Bello, Bakari Adebisi, Thomas Hude, and Mrs. Abiola Bada. That will be the 5 members of the audit committee for the year. And we wish them the very best of luck. Congratulations. Adjournment. This concludes the business of this meeting. I thank you for attending the meeting, which I now declare closed. National anthem, please.
AXA Mansard. AXA Mansard. Now better life I get fine. The true one that always cares for me. AXA Mansard gives me more wellness for less. Now why every day I'm at my best, oh. No single stress, oh yeah. Mama, papa, brother, sister, AXA Mansard be the answer. Uncle, auntie, family and friends. AXA Mansard be the answer. Giving more wellness for less, oh yeah. So who no go no, who get your most, yeah. AXA Mansard is the way. AXA Mansard is the way. They care about my mental health, fitness and healthcare. Good nutrition, healthy living means a lot to them. That's why I chill with peace of mind. No worries anytime. Cause when I look back, I know AXA Mansard's got my back. Yeah, yeah. So what are you waiting for? Sign up and join the squad. Make you start the enjoy healthy living today. Oh yeah. Mama, papa, brother, sister, AXA Mansard be the answer. Uncle, auntie, family and friends. AXA Mansard be the answer. Giving more wellness for less, oh yeah. So who no go no, who get your most, yeah. AXA Mansard be the way. Mama, papa, brother, sister, AXA Mansard be the answer. Uncle, auntie, family and friends. AXA Mansard be the answer. Giving more wellness for less, oh yeah. So who no go no, who get your most, yeah. AXA Mansard be the way. oh yeah. Mama, papa, brother, sister, AXA Mansard be the answer. Uncle, auntie, family and friends. AXA Mansard be the answer. Giving more wellness for less, oh yeah. So who no go no, who get their must, yeah. AXA Mansard is the way. AXA Mansard is the way. They care about my mental health, fitness and healthcare. Good nutrition, healthy living means a lot to them. That's why I chill with peace of mind. No worries anytime. Cause when I look back, I know AXA Mansard's got my back. Yeah. So what are you waiting for? Sign up and join the squad. Make you start the enjoy healthy living today. Oh yeah. Mama, papa, brother, sister, AXA Mansard be the answer. Uncle, auntie, family and friends. AXA Mansard be the answer. Giving more wellness for less, oh yeah. So who no go no, who get your must, yeah. AXA Mansard be the way. Mama, papa, brother, sister, AXA Mansard be the answer. Uncle, auntie, family and friends. AXA Mansard be the answer. Giving more wellness for less, oh yeah. So who no go no, who get your must, yeah. AXA Mansard be the way.